Good morning, students, and welcome to the class of English. Today, we are going to study a poem, A Tiger in the Zoo, by Leslie Norris. Children, in this poem, we are going to contrast the importance of independence and the dark side of slavery, the dark side of being caged. So let's begin this wonderful poem. As you can see in this picture, children, tiger inside a cage. Check its facial expressions. I think looking disturbed, irritated, full of rage and fury. Why? Because it is not independent. Children, this poem is written by Leslie Norris. You can see here. If we go by this poem and its stanzas, so let me recite the poem first, then I will explain it to you one by one. He stalks in his vivid strips, the few steps of his cage, on beds of velvet quiet, in his quiet rage. He should be lurking in the shadow, sliding through long grass, near the water hole where the plump deer pass. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. So children, let's move on to the first stanza. He, here is tiger. Stalking means to move quietly and slowly in a threatening way. Children, stalking is against law. If anyone is found stalking, then there is a punishment. So he stalks in his vivid stripes means the tiger is walking slowly and the stripes on its body are clearly visible. He walks only few steps of his cage. Why? Because there is that much space only. On pads of velvet quiet. What are the pads? Actually, pad is the soft part under the foot of the tiger. The soft skin under the foot of the tiger is known as pad. So on pads of velvet actually is a very soft cloth. So the pads of tigers are compared with velvet. So on pads of velvet quiet, in his quiet rage. Rage means anger. So the tiger is angry also. Now the poet feels that what the tiger should be, where the tiger should be. So in the second stanza, the poet describes it. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass, near the water hole where the plump deer pass. So lurking, children, means hiding. So he should be hiding in shadow, in his natural habitat, in the jungle, hunting and resting. And the shadows of trees should hide him. And he should be found near the water hole, means where there is source of water, waiting for the chubby deer. Plump means fatty, chubby deer to hunt. He would then near the water hole wait for some fat and healthy deer. Thus, he would be lying there in expectation of a heavy feast. Third stanza, he should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. So the poet says that he should be snarling. Snarling means children making an angry and a sound of warning, which a tiger generally does. So at the jungle's edge means where the jungle ends, near the village. The tiger should be shouting and showing its sharp teeth and his claws, and then this way frightening and threatening the village and villagers. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. Children, the poet sees that the tiger is locked in a concrete cell in the zoo, and in spite of all his strength, he now lies imprisoned behind the bars. Bars means iron rods. Very slowly and silently, the tiger moves up and down along the length of the cage. Stalking means moving. He moves in an angry and threatening manner. And the visitors, those who come there to have a look, the tiger takes no note of the visitors. He ignores them. He completely ignores them, and as none of them thinks of releasing him from his prison, because tiger knows that no one of these visitors will make him free. Actually, moreover, due to his thinking that the visitors, those who are there, because of them, he is hardly able to get any rest during the day. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. So, the tiger hears the last voice at night, means the tiger is not able to take rest during the day due to visitors. Even at night, he remains disturbed due to the noise that comes from the patrolling cars. The tiger has thus lost all its hope and feels very helpless. He thus stares at the brilliant stars shining brightly in the sky, and it seems that he is looking for some sort of comfort and hope in these stars. His brilliant eyes show that he still hopes for the day and when he would be able to run free in the forest and live in natural surroundings. So, children, it was the explanation of the poem. If I teach you the difference between the tiger in the cage and in the wild, so here, there, in the cage the tiger stalks. Only few steps he can walk. His quiet anger is visible as he is locked in the concrete cell. He is stalking the length of his cage and ignoring visitors. He hears the last voice and stares at the brilliant stars. But when the tiger is in the wilderness, what happens? He is lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass, snarling around houses, baring his white fangs, his claws, and terrorizing the villagers. So the same thing here, children, in short. In cage, few steps, locked in concrete cell behind bars, visitors disturbed him, and sound of patrolling car also disturbed him. In the wild, among the shadow of trees, long grass. He waits near the water hole for plum deer and snarls at the jungle's edge. Alright? Now, if we talk about this poem, we should understand what is the importance of freedom after just knowing this poem. We should understand the dangers of deforestation and blasting of forestation or afforestation. We should understand that all animals will be happy only in their natural surroundings and habitat. And it is our responsibility, that is, this present generation, that we must preserve the environment and earth. So, children, in this poem, the life of a tiger in a zoo and the life of the tiger in its natural habitat has been contrasted. And on a starry night, the poet sees a tiger in a zoo. The tiger moves slowly up and down in his cage. He is full of rage, but is quiet in his helplessness. The poet is moved to pity for the tiger. He says that the tiger should have been in the jungle. He should have been moving quietly in the shadows near some water hole and waiting for a plump deer to pass that way. But sadly, he is locked behind bars in a concrete cell. He does not take any notice of the visitors and is looking at the brilliant stars with his brilliant eyes. Now he has to be content. Content means satisfied. He has to be content with merely looking at the stars. He is no longer free to move in his natural habitat and look at the brilliant stars from there. So by now, I hope, children, you have got enough of the poem. So thank you and goodbye.